On August 2, 1990, Saddam Hussein, president of Iraq, launched an invasion of Kuwait, seeking the rich oil fields within the small nation. The invasion was swift, taking just a mere 2 days to annex the country. Just south lies the vast lands of Saudi Arabia, but Hussein has no intentions to invade, at least not yet. As Iraqi forces secure the Kuwait-Saudi border, a mass buildup of a military coalition begins. A plethora of countries join in to aid the inevitable counterattack, and on January 17, 1991, the military operation known as Operation Desert Storm commences. Instead of attacking along the Saudi-Kuwait border, the coalition led by the United States will instead take the unlikely route of swinging around the right flank of the Iraq army via the vast trackless desert to the west. Progress varies along the coalition's lines, from speedy to slow. All are steady, however. Resistance is initially light, but as tank groups of the United States near the border, they fear a strong defense. To mark out their approach, Eastings have been established as checkpoints for the coalition to stop and go at. At 70 Easting, they are to temporarily halt their advance. In the afternoon of February 26, the 2nd Armored Cavalry Regiment were a few miles from this position. They had broken up into 4 main tank troops, with Ghost and Eagle taking lead. Already that morning, stiff resistance was met in the town of al-Bushehr, putting these units on high alert. At 4:10, the Abraham tanks of Eagle Troop approached the 67 Easting in the late elements of a sandstorm. Using infrared vision, they spotted a cluster of buildings on the horizon. Finding heat signatures in and around the buildings, Captain McMaster orders heat rounds to be fired upon the buildings. They proceed to 70 Easting, which is marked by a low-lying ridge. When Eagle Troop reaches the crest of the ridge, they stumble upon a large Iraqi tank deployment of T-72s. However, the tanks were facing to the south, expecting an attack along a small pipeline road, and they deployed in a reverse slope position. The Abrahams charged down the ridge and poured fire into the T-72s, which lacked crucial technology that the Abrahams had advanced upon. Tank turrets blow off the bodies left and right as Eagle Troop sweeps through the defenses, eliminating most of the tanks in sight. Soon, another battalion of tanks is spotted to Eagle Troop's south, Iraqi turrets now at the ready. Though McMaster's group take fire, it is still not enough to slow them down as they charge once more and either send the Iraqi tanks in retreat or destroy them entirely. Now having secured the 70 Easting, Eagle Troop's orders are to hold fast, but feeling that they have the enemy on the run, McMaster continues forward. His gamble pays off when he locates another tank unit of 18 T-72s, all parked in a coil and in the process of maintenance. 2 Bradley vehicles are sent north on a reconnaissance mission, but in the process stumble into a nest of Iraqi tanks. Outmatched by the enemy guns, the Bradleys are still able to hold their ground and destroy 5 tanks with their missiles before returning to their respective troop. So far in the battle, Iron Troop was guarding the line of advance at the 67 Easting, but were now called north. They came across the ruins of the village that Eagle Troop had destroyed, but found more hostiles in the burning ruins. Being supported by Killer Troop, the 2 troops were able to overwhelm the few inside and secure the area. Advancing in a similar direction as Eagle Troop had, they too encountered defensive works of Iraqi tanks. Iron and Killer Troops swiftly charged across the sand, destroying tanks left and right. It became so chaotic that a stray shot from Killer Troop hit a Bradley and Iron. To avoid further friendly fire, Killer pulled back to 70 Easting as Iron took out a guardhouse and its defenses. Ghost Troop had already advanced north of the battle, having come across a wadi at the 73 Easting. There, Iraqi forces held their line and continued to send more and more tanks and soldiers into the firefight. As night covered the battlefield, the wadi was illuminated by the streaks of missile and rockets. The depleted Iraqi army broke off the fight. Fighting for the 73 Easting was a small part of the larger offensive known as Operation Desert Storm. However, the intensity over this particular patch of desert has led to historians calling it the last great tank battle of the 20th century. Around 1,000 Iraqi soldiers were dead and wounded, with another 1,000 taken prisoner. Over 300 tanks, vehicles, and other pieces of armor lay destroyed across the landscape. A shocking casualty list compared to the mere 25 soldiers of the U.S. killed or wounded in the loss of a lone vehicle. Iraq expected to turn their desert into another Vietnam jungle, but found themselves fleeing from their foe. The day after the battle, Saddam Hussein ordered the evacuation of Kuwait, the coalition declaring the nation liberated. However, Hussein would still rule over Iraq with an iron fist until a decade later.